What's up, guys? So, of course, I did a session, a BQH session with Maria on Tuesday, and then we did a follow up. We just had, I had something cancel on my schedule, and I sent her a message, and we ended up trying to set up a session to uh, do a channeling session, try something a little different, and that's when she channeled the Arcturians. And during that session, you might recall me saying that message received when they were talking about the octaves.
Stuff about math and music. Codes are numbers, but numbers are frequencies. Music, octaves. I don't know music, but then they're talking about all the in betweens and they're showing like music sheets with different tones. And I don't know. It's a lot of information, but I can't put it together.
Message received. So because I've been getting 88 for a long time about balance. It came through with Gene, and I was trying to figure out what all the eights were about. But right before the session, I had been working on a piece of music, or just like really messing around. And I came across this sound on the keyboard, and I wanted to show what I meant by message received because I had just been playing with this. I didn't really know a good way to record it because it's got its own tempo, which I'll show. I want to explain this because when after the session, I began to play with this sound, and it's just a single sound I came across. And I was playing with the sound, and I noticed something really cool and interesting about it. So I'll try to explain it for non-musicians as well as musicians, but I think you'll really enjoy this, the fractal nature. So for those that don't know what a fractal is, it's like when you have a shape and then you zoom in, and you can look up examples of this, but the shape is made up of the same shape and you can continually zoom in, and it's like the fractal nature of reality. You know how we have cells with the nucleus and the protons and or electrons and all that going around the nucleus, and the sun and the planets and the central sun and the galaxies and all that. There's like a fractal nature. So that's what when I discovered this, well, I'll just try to explain it by showing you here. So, okay, this is one sound. Now, I don't know who put this together, but as I began to play with it in the key of F and 432 hertz, by the way, I noticed something interesting about it. If I play it in 1F, this is the sound that you just heard. That's just one sound I came across. I didn't build all of the individual parts, so let's go through those parts. I'm going to go an octave higher and show you what happens. Okay, so here's the fractal nature of it. Okay, there's octaves. There's as you go up, the eighth note is the first note, kind of like days of the week. A Sunday is the first day, but it's also the eighth day of the previous week. So the whole do re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. The do is the original do in a higher octave. It's the eighth note higher, so it's got that comparison of like when you think of days of the week, colors of the rainbow, this sort of thing, right? And while the balance I felt up until this time, I've been talking about like balancing between the masculine and feminine, which is true. There's also a fractal nature, right? So the balancing within ourselves brings the balancing outside, and that's what I felt like this uh, this this music, this example here I want to give you. Let's break it down in its parts. So you got the key that you hear, just the note, right? Then if I go up an octave, we have an octave higher than that. Hear it? If I go an octave higher, listen what happens. Okay, here's where we're getting the fractal nature of it. While the keys are going up an octave, the tempo is doubling. So in the first one, we have this sort of knocking sound, right? 3, 4. That's the fourth knock. An octave higher, we get twice as many knocks. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We get 8 where we only got 4 of the ones before in the lower octave. But if we go an octave higher, you can hear that we actually have 16 to 4 to the 8 of the previous and 4 of the previous one to that. So we have this doubling. Now check this out. If you listen real closely, you can hear this sort of xylophone that it sounds like somebody's running the mallet across all of them. And guess how many notes they hit when they run across there? You hear it almost sounds like somebody's going across a comb. Let's do it even higher. Here is a... Okay. Now let's go all the way down to the original one and count them up and see that how many we have there. 8. We got 8. Listen. That 8th one's kind of quiet, but you can hear it. It's 8. It's like someone sliding a mallet across 8 keys of the xylophone. So there you can hear that it's 8, but listen when you double the speed. A little bit faster, harder to count. Let's go another octave. Really fast. It's 8 notes. Can you hear it? Let's even go higher. Okay, the reason that I can't normally use this is I would be playing around on here, but being that tempo is all over the place, it doubles each time, and you can see if I go somewhere in between, the tempo changes on every one. So it's difficult to even use this sound unless you just sort of free flow play with it, which is what I was doing right before I took a little break to go do that session. I thought, I'm going to have to figure out a different way to record this. And I did record this. I just want to give you a little sample of it just by itself with the fractal sounds to hear how they all mesh together when you play them in keys of F 1 octave apart. So it's like this. And you got to babysit it. Normally, with technology nowadays, everything can be quantized and made perfect and set to the metronome perfectly. But this isn't like that. I've got to kind of sort of babysit them and make sure the loops begin on time so that as they drift off, they come back to time over time. So give you a little taste of what it's like to line up the different octaves and have this sort of fractal pattern interweaving within itself. I'll do 4 octaves now. Then I throw an A in there because it's a little bit offbeat and adds a little dynamic. That's all of them together once again. Anyway, I think, I don't know what it is, but it allows for, and in fact, it was difficult to record it because I get really deep trancey just playing it and listening to it over and over again, and even listening to it afterwards, especially as I added some other sounds to it. So tell me what you think in the comments. Listen to it for yourself. See if it helps you to reach altered states of consciousness as you sit with it and listen to it and sort of meditate with it. And lots of love, light, and unity. I got the full version uploaded to my music channel, my regular personal channel, if you want to just hear it by itself. But here's a little taste.